What the fuck is up, y'all? Am I on the air? Here it comes. Oh, there it is. Oh, shit. All right. Well, good deal. In classic fucking Juggalo fashion, I was delayed by just a few minutes, but it is all a learning process. So, welcome to the Murder Mayhem Show live stream edition, featuring special guest of the night of the Beneath the Dirt podcast, Rone Bone.
What's going on?
Yes, Rone Bone just did Wicked Shit Wednesday over on his YouTube channel, where you pretty much just take requests from the chat, play them from whatever source. I don't know where you play them from, but God knows that you own every CD ever made, so don't worry about that. He certainly has most assuredly probably bought everything he's ever played on that show at some point in his life. But yeah, I don't this is just loosey goosey format, so pretty much just leaving it up to the chat. There was a few things right off the bat that I wanted to get into. The Gathering website finally launched after days and days of delays. Have you had a chance to look through that at all?
Yeah, I skimmed through it. They put up, the performances so far, which is pretty much psychopathic acts.
Mm-hmm.
I think they just put something up about JCW. I haven't looked at that yet.
Yeah. I'm not sure that they announced any other wrestlers, but they announced some of the events that would be going on. So yeah, just psychopathic acts, like you said, but even that is already something we're talking about, because with all the talk of like who's on the label, who's not on the label, this and that speculations, I feel like this website really put a lot of that to rest, because there you have every artist. It's the same lineup that's listed on psychopathicrecords.com. Same lineup that they've been having for years. So Hoodoo, ABK, Light, Ouija, DJ Clay, ICP. Is that everyone?
Sounds like it to me.
Yeah. So especially Light and ABK are always the ones that people are saying the most that they think have been fired or quit or whatever. So I'm taking this as just more reinforcement that they are still, in fact, on Psychopathic. What say you?
I say it gives us hope that they're still on Psychopathic.
You're not convinced. You don't sound convinced.
I'm not fully convinced until I see them. Yeah, it's cool to see ABK and Light in the graphics, scheduled to perform, shit like that. I want them on Psychopathic. It's not that I don't want them on Psychopathic. But yeah, it gives me hope that they're still there, especially with ABK. Light, I never really questioned Light. I don't know why. But with ABK, seeing him scheduled to perform, and Clay too, because Clay just disappeared off the Shaggy tour out of nowhere. So dope to see him performing. I know he's working on his new album as well.
Right.
So
yeah, although I did notice that DJ Clay is now back on the late night stage, whereas I think it was last year, maybe even the last few years. I don't know. He had made his way up to main stage at one point, but I don't know. I think DJ Clay kind of works better on a smaller stage anyway. But still, even so, regardless, the fact that he's there, I mean, if there was any kind of bad blood, I would say he wouldn't even be there. Plus, another thing that was kind of on my mind was like, I wonder what ICP's relationship is with Isham ever since that tour got canceled out of the blue. I haven't really seen them say much of anything about each other since then, but just as planned, Supervillains is going down at the Gathering, just as announced and has always been the case. So no worries there. I also noticed that they mentioned that Supervillains is just Isham and ICP. So that's good. That's the way that I thought it should have been anyway. So
yeah, that's hearing that it's just ICP and Isham is dope to know because it should have always been just ICP and Isham like it originally was supposed to be. Um, I think Violent J is probably trying to make it up to Isham for canceling that tour.
yeah, that's true. All the more reason to make sure that it goes down.
Right. Like
Yeah.
like I know I kind of fucked that up for you, but I got your back and we'll do it for the gathering. I'm hyped for a supervillains reunion. If Isham's gonna come as hard as he did on that cipher, and Violent J is coming as hard as he has been coming, like with Fearless Fred Fury, I think we're in for some throwback feels with some new supervillains material, if there is any coming out.
Yeah, that's the other big question. What is the nature of this reunion? Nobody knows. The only thing that has been said about it was the big supervillains banner that came down during ICP set of last year's gathering. But it's like, does that mean new music? What does that mean? There's also, of course, the greatest hits album that never materialized. That was advertised in Fred Fury to come out probably like 2 weeks ago now. So maybe that'll be something that comes out at the gathering. I don't know, but so far, even just with the base amount of information that is on that website, I'm already happy. I'm just glad to see the psychopathic family there, plus Isham. It's like shit. It already sounds good. Like even in a world where psychopathics now said, we're totally broke, we have no money, we can't afford to pay anyone else to come to the gathering other than these people, I would say that still sounds awesome because I like all those people. So
Yeah,
so far it's shaping up to be pretty good gathering, if you ask me. You are
I,
planning on attending the gathering, right?
I am.
You better make it now because now people know you. Now that you've been
Right.
doing the podcast and shit, it
Right.
happened to me last year. People flagging me. Granted, I was wearing this very shirt, so I wasn't trying to hide it, but
Right.
people were approaching me, and at that time, I hadn't even gone on camera really. So all they had to go on was recognizing the logo from the shirt from like my Twitter page and shit. So this year, I think it'll be on a lot bigger scale now that people are actually watching the shit. I
Yeah.
have 13 people watching this very show
It should
as
be
we
good.
speak.
And I remember Isham posting before even Fearless Fred Fury came out. I think before even the original release date, him saying shit, being in the studio with Violent J. Um, it was either on Twitter or Instagram. I don't really remember, but I vaguely remember him kind of giving hints that they were in the studio or something along those lines.
Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know if I remember that or not. Sounds like something that would have happened. I was a little surprised to see no Isham whatsoever on Fred Fury. Did that surprise you? Nope, not even a production credit or a verse or anything. I was kind of thinking there would be.
Yeah, that totally surprised me. I thought for sure we were going to get a feature, production, shit, background vocals, something. I was expecting to see Isham's name kind of all over it, to be honest. Because I mean, we had no idea who was producing the shit. End up being a mix of a bunch of different people mixing it, but yeah, I was surprised to see no Isham.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, and if they make it, if they do another Hell's Pit, like they say they're gonna do, in a world where you can't get Mike Clark, I would say Isham would be the next best person to go with for a
Yeah,
project like that. So
yeah, Isham did production on. I think he did production on Hell's Pit.
yeah, he did.
Okay.
Yeah, he did. But I would like to see. I wouldn't mind seeing him do a whole album on
Oh,
yeah,
absolutely.
on Hell's Pit. He did. I'm trying to go off the top of my head, which is always a tricky game. I know he did the one 24, the song 24. That one
Love.
comes to mind.
I love that
I
song.
want to say Bowling Balls. That could have been a Mike P though, so I shouldn't even talk out of
I
my ass.
remember people saying one of those songs was about Isham. Like, was it The Witch? People saying The Witch was about Isham or something
About
like that.
Isham.
Yeah.
You know, he did a Real Underground Baby as well, I
Oh, yeah,
believe.
that's right.
About Isham, like in a good way or
Yeah.
a bad way?
No, a good way.
Oh, hmm.
Yeah, kinda like I don't know, I think people were speculating. I just remember that from message boards back in the day when that album first came out.
Yeah, who knows? He does, on Walk Into the Darkness, Violent J says, "Turn your world upside down and make it rain hell." I believe that is an Isham lyric that
Yeah,
they actually created for that.
Isham's production's dope. I love Isham's production.
Yeah, and he's a real workhorse. He puts out more albums than I can even listen to, which actually kind of annoys me. I kind of don't really love it when artists do that, but that's just kind of the way it is now. You got to keep putting stuff out. Music
Right.
is so disposable now. That's just kind of how it works. But
Yeah.
yeah, he puts out every year. He'll put out like another full LP, just about pretty much,
I
or at
think
least he
he's
did for a while there. I don't really know what he's up to too much these days.
yeah.
He's about to go on tour though, or he might even be on tour right now.
Yeah,
But he
he's
had some dates. Yeah.
yeah, he's got a whole tour popping up. I might check that out. Because I know he's coming close to my area, about an hour out. Um, but he's got the hashtag afraid of the dark. That's the name of the tour. So
Gotcha.
he's keeping busy. And I know after that whole E&J tour debacle, he was like, I will go on tour and I'm gonna do it solo.
Well, he guys got to do what he's got to do anyway. Of those few E&J dates that actually happened, it didn't sound to me like it was anything super special anyway. Like what I was hoping for out of that tour, and I was going to go to that tour if it would have actually happened, but I was hoping that they would have done a lot of their like songs that they have together on the tour, but it sounded like it was just Isham opening for Violent J, like no different from a regular. I mean, uh, to me, that's just like I had just seen the Malenko and Friends tour that was like right before that, and that was Isham opening for ICP. So it's like, am I just going to see the same show again, but without Shaggy? Like if you have ENJ together and you call it the ENJ tour, seems like you'd want to do supervillain stuff or things like that. But either way, uh,
Yeah,
yeah,
that would have been
I,
awesome.
I assume that we're probably doing a. I don't know if it's on the website or not, but if Isham's there for supervillains, then I imagine he's probably doing a solo set as well. Don't you think?
I would assume so, yeah. Probably a late night like he usually does. Didn't he play like for 4 hours a couple years ago?
I don't know. That sounds awesome though. If he
Yeah.
did, then I didn't see that. But
I
last
think it
year he
was
was on the main stage and he had like a band with him and it sounded awesome.
yeah, I remember a few years ago he played for like 4 hours and then he announced that he would never play The Gathering again.
Yeah, and then he
But
played The Gathering right after
right.
that.
Right.
Scruffy's in the chat says Isham did Night of the 44, 24, Basehead Attack, and Real Underground Baby. So those are good songs. Yeah, Night of the 44.
Super hard.
I definitely knew that was one of his, and that is a good one. Basehead Attack kind of surprises me, but also a really good song. And I like Real Underground Baby as well. Speaky Clout says, "What is your favorite Isham album, Mitch?" I'm gonna go with "Boomin' Words from Hell." That's usually what I stick with for
Yep,
that
that's a good
question.
one.
What about yourself, Rone?
Closed Casket, I love that album. I just did a review with Speaky Clout on their YouTube. It was dope reliving that album. His production, the shit he must have been going through at that time in his life, like so much pain in those lyrics, just some fucked up shit. I love that album.
Yeah, it's a good one. And I don't profess to be like an Isham expert, really, so I kind of don't feel too qualified to answer the question. But I stick with "Boomin' Words from Hell" as my favorite because it's just like you can't go wrong with that. It's kind of like his Carnival of Carnage, and then it's like,
Yeah,
it's so raw and like
it
very
is.
stripped down and stuff. So it's like,
The best part about Boom and Words is he recorded that shit when he was 13 years old.
Oh my gosh, really? Yeah, see, I
Yeah,
didn't realize he was that young. Jesus.
13 and rapping about that
He
shit.
sounds
That's nuts.
terrifying. Yeah.
If I had a kid,
Well,
he's 13 rapping about that shit, I'd whoop his ass. I'd be like, what the fuck are you doing?
yeah. Yeah, I mean, that came out in what, like 1989?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's like the beginnings of the beginnings of rap in a lot of ways, but
Mhm.
especially like the beginning of like gangster rap and horrorcore and stuff. So yeah, he was definitely a pioneer.
Ahead of his time for sure.
Oh yeah, way
Rapping
ahead
about
of
the
his
devil
time.
and shit.
Yeah, now it's no big deal.
No.
It's like, well, yeah, no big deal.
Yeah.
See, we got anything else in the chat here? Scruffy
Mm,
says closed casket is a wicked shit textbook, the wicked shit textbook. Yeah, I
absolutely.
probably need to go through and do like a whole run of just like Esham albums just to reacquaint myself with each of them. Like, because when I was growing up and really getting into Juggalo shit, I was really like downloading a lot of MP3s and stuff. So to this day, I still have a problem picking out which songs go to which CDs
Oh,
for
okay.
some artists because I was just downloading the MP3s and putting them all in one big folder. So it's like other than ICP and like people like that I've actively studied on, it's tough for me sometimes to know which songs go with which albums. So
I would just I'd say anything before he signed to Psychopathic, just even with Nadas,
yeah, and
man.
Nodus is another thing that I know pretty much nothing about.
Oh man.
I know,
Yeah.
I know. There's a lot of shit out there that I just don't. I'm
Yeah.
not
I'm
an expert
glad.
on.
You know what? If it wasn't for ICP, before ICP, I was a fucking metalhead. I listened to Pantera, uh, old school Metallica, Alice in Chains, just straight rock shit. I wasn't into rap at all, really much. A little bit of Snoop, a little bit of Bone Thugs, but listening to ICP just sucked me in. I was in the Juggalo world deep for like 2 years, listening to nothing but ICP and Twisted pretty much. And then I started branching out, and that's when I found groups like 3 6, even more Bone Thugs, and then like underground shit like Ishamanadas. And I fucking love Ishamanadas. They're, man, fucking legends and inspire so many people that probably don't even know it at this point
Right.
that make wicked shit,
Sure.
you
And
know?
like you also got to consider like he influenced Eminem and Eminem influenced like everybody in
Right.
maybe not everybody, but
A lot of
yeah,
people.
so that alone is just like it starts with him.
Yeah, absolutely. Fucking Isham is that dude, man. Way ahead of his time. His production was way ahead of his time. His sampling, all that shit. Love
Yeah,
it.
that's the other like super impressive thing about him being that young is he was producing all his own shit, right? So
Yeah, and he was recording all that shit, like Booming
mhm.
Words, Judgment
Yeah, it
Day, Kill
sounds
the
good.
Fetus, in his mom's house, in his
Yeah.
bedroom.
Right.
So
So,
I can only
yeah, that'll
imagine.
be cool if he shows up at the gathering. Something else I wanted to talk about was the brother EPs. Violent J's brother EP, what went on sale today and sold out today? Is that right? They're certainly sold out now. So
Yep.
good luck on that. $25 for a 4-track EP, 5-track, I think, but or is that right?
I think it was 4.
I think it's 4 songs and an intro.
Yep.
So yeah, speaking of that E&J tour, those were the leftover VIP exclusive albums, quote unquote VIP exclusives that are now for sale for $25. I don't know, worth the price? I'm not buying one. You're an audio guy though, so you probably got to have it, right? Did you try to
Yep.
buy one?
Oh, I got one right when I saw it go up. I bought it
Well
within
done.
10 minutes of it being up.
Right.
I'm hoping for that new,
Of
what
course
is it?
you are. Yeah.
Steve meets Abu. I
Yeah.
doubt I'll get it, but hey, it's worth a shot.
I mean, that would be rad if you did. Yeah.
Yeah, hell yeah.
So that is included with, I think they said only 200, right? There's
Right.
200 CDs of the new Steve Meets Abu. Weird name for a CD. 200 of those being included randomly with the brother EPs that are going out. Two songs they said, which man, when I record this show, I stop and I look shit up before I say it, but we're live, so I just have to go off the top of my head. I think they said it was two tracks, and one of them
Yep.
is called Steve Meets a Boo, and the other one is called Frog.
Right.
So God only knows what the fuck that's about. I'm thinking it might have something to do with the next Joker's card. I don't know. I think there'll be some kind of clue in there. That's how ICP is. If they already have the idea in mind, they can't stop themselves from like putting out little clues and weird shit like that. So who knows? It's a weird choice anyway. They're really running with this whole brother thing with Hulk Hogan and whatnot, and it's like, well, I guess they got over all that weird racist shit from a few years ago because they are really embracing it now, really running with it now. But yeah, definitely curious.
Yeah. I'm still salty over the E&J tour cancellation. I had the VIP for that tour, so I should have already have that fucking CD. But now I got to drop 25 bones on it. Is what it is. I mean, those CDs were selling for ridiculous prices.
You're
Like,
in too deep now because you have so many CDs now that you have to keep the collection up.
oh,
That's the luxury of me not having a lot of CDs. I don't
yep,
feel bad about missing them.
right,
So it
yeah.
saves me money there. I
And,
did VIP for Shaggy's tour, and they didn't have any of the Gloomy Sunday CDs, and they said they were gonna mail them out, and I never got one, so that sucks.
you still haven't fucking got one?
No, so I don't expect to ever see it.
I just seen people just started receiving their Hell Cellar vinyl that they pre-ordered
Mhm.
at the Gathering last year, like within the last week.
Oh yeah, well it didn't come out until like the day Fred Fury came out, I think, or somewhere close to that, I think.
Yeah,
So it didn't even come out at all until recently, but
yeah, but I guess I bring that up just to say that I guess
mm,
maybe in due time you'll get it because people were convinced that they weren't weren't going to get their pre-orders that they placed at the Gathering last year.
yeah, but that's like a much bigger deal. Like if those never shipped out, then people would be complaining about that a lot. Whereas I feel like this tour EP is just gonna go under the radar. Like it'll just be forgotten. They'll just be sitting on a shelf somewhere. It's psychopathic, so
Right.
who knows? But yeah, I mean, I don't really mind that much. It's just annoying that shit like that happens, especially because you got two of them, you bastard.
I
I
know.
knew they were gonna run out at the start of the tour. You said that they were giving out two of them to people.
Yeah, the show that I went to, like probably about halfway through the giving out the lanyards and CDs to people because it was the first day the CDs showed up and they ran out of lanyards. And by the time I got up there and he's like, here's two CDs. We don't have no lanyards. And I was like, oh shit. Now they're giving out. So they're probably going to be doing this for the next few dates of the tour, giving everybody two CDs. So
I saw it coming. So, did you ever get a lanyard? Did they say they were gonna mail it, or did they just?
no, I ended up buying one off somebody from the museum for like $7.
Oh yeah, I got a lanyard, so they must have got more lanyards at one point. But whatever.
Yeah,
Having
I
that
like that Gloomy Sunday EP a lot.
Yeah, I like it a lot because I like two of the tracks on it, and then the other two I don't really like. But when you're talking about a 4-song EP, two good songs on it is a lot. I mean, I call that a good album. If
Yeah.
two of the four are good, which on the Brother CD, I gotta say it again. The only one that I really like on the Brother CD is that Best Friend song, which is the corniest song on that CD. In fact, maybe one of the corniest songs ICP has ever put out.
Oh, I
And
would
yet, I
absolutely
really
agree
enjoy it a lot. It's the only one that I continually go to off that Brother EP, even though I know that first track is a lot more like classic ICP, wicked shit, yada, yada, all that good stuff. I'm
Right.
sticking with the Best Friend song. It's the only reason I would even consider buying that Brother EP would be because I like that song. But yeah, I would take the Gloomy Sunday over the Brother for sure. Would you agree with that?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
The only song I like really on the Brother EP is the first song. Definitely sounds like a Fearless Fred Fury outtake.
Yeah, I bet it was. And Gloomy Sunday, I like the first track, the Gloomy Sunday one, but I really liked the second track, which was the MC Ren cover.
Yep.
Oh my god, that song is so awesome.
It really is.
That's like one of the best ICP songs of the last like 10 years.
I
Like I
agree.
can't say enough good things about that song. I love
He
it.
Yeah, he killed that cover, absolutely.
Yeah,
Great choice of a song to do too.
totally. It's so ICP. Like
Mhm.
people always say, you know, every time ICP puts something out, it's always the same conversation of people being like, this sounds like the old ICP, or they need to go back to the old sound. Like people are always comparing it to the old shit.
Right.
But that song to me actually did sound like the old shit since it was a cover of the type of shit that was inspiring the old shit to begin with. So
Right.
it's like you can't sound any more old school than that to do a
Nope.
cover of your own influences and do it so perfectly. Like even like the beat was it like took just the right amount and changed just the right amount from the original to like keep it awesome but still make it its own. I listened to that song over and over and over again, but yeah, it just has been relegated to a tour giveaway for whatever reason. I don't know. Some people at the time said maybe it was because of sampling issues and stuff, but they're clearly ICP wasn't too worried about sampling issues. Look
Right.
at Flip the Rat, and even Fred Fury has a bunch of stuff on there that
Oh
makes
yeah.
you say, I wonder if they cleared all this.
Yeah.
Flip the Rat, especially, where it's just like blatantly taking big chunks of other songs. So,
Yeah, and the Game Over track with all those video game samples.
yeah, which you can kind of get around some of that stuff by replaying the song. So, I kind of wonder about that if, like, they replayed those video game samples or something just to clear them for the album. I don't know. There's a lot of shit on there like Super Mario Brothers and shit. It's like
Right.
can't
Zelda.
deny that. You know, if whoever wrote that Mario Brothers song actually wanted to take it there, they could probably because ICP has been having a psychopathic in general. It's been having a chronic problem with being sued for copyright for sampling things without clearing them. From that Jump Steady, the Road one, and some other things too. It's like
Dark Lotus.
Dark Lotus, yeah. And I'm not sure that it's happened on an ICP album. I
Not that I could think of. The two main ones were that Jump Steady CD and Dark Lotus.
yeah. So but they just keep doing it. They don't get sued for it every time, but they just
Right.
keep doing it. So it's
That's
like,
what I mean. That's what people do in hip hop. You hear it every once in a while. So and so is getting sued for sampling this track here. So it's hip hop, you know.
I guess if I were in their ear, I would tell them stop doing that. Like
Right.
even as they were about to put out the Flip the Rat album, if I were there, I would be like, don't do it unless
Right.
you've gone through all the legal shit to do it. Don't
Right.
do it. Don't even take the chance. But
I
you
wonder
know,
how much they had to pay out for those lawsuits. I'm sure it was a nice chunk of change.
they mentioned it on the Juggalo show once. I think Violent J said it was like $70,000 for the Jump Steady one.
Damn.
Yeah, which sounds like a lot, but if you actually look up the news article about it, like because it was like reported on at the time, somehow it even made national news, I guess, music news. But in the initial reports of it, it was saying that ICP was being sued for like $7 million or some
Oh
shit, some
shit.
outrageous amount of money. So it's like, well, I guess compared to that, 70,000 is not too bad.
Right.
So yeah, I was just listening the other day in my car. I have like every Psychopathic CD on a USB drive that I just keep on shuffle in my car, so I never know what song's gonna come up. And that Twisted "I Got Five on It" cover came up, and I
Oh
was
yeah,
just listening to that like, this is so just blatantly stolen. Like they didn't need the beat. It's not even a cover. It's just a ripoff. Like the beat is like the exact same beat, isn't it? So
it
it's
sounds like
like,
it. Yeah,
how do they get away with putting that on a national album? But worked out,
yeah,
I guess. And that song is awesome.
yeah. I would imagine that sample would be a nice little chunk of change to pay off in order to use it. That was a huge song back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Really big song.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, totally. So, and then not to mention like all the psychopathic writers and stuff too. That's why I don't feel badly about stealing so much content. Not stealing, but like ripping things off of DVDs and uploading them to my YouTube channel, because
Right,
it's like, well, fuck, nobody takes more shit from other people than psychopathic. I mean, I
right,
that sounds negative, but it's not
right,
negative.
right. Right.
They do it all the time. So
Yeah.
what?
Fuck it.
Yeah, fuck it. What's going on in the chat here?
So what do you
Uh,
think about Blase Rose hinting at a comeback on Instagram today?
yeah, I didn't know about that until you said something about it on Twitter, and then I went to her Instagram and looked at it. It was mostly just, from what I saw, there was a picture of her, and then someone asked if she was making a comeback, and she said that she was, something like that. Yeah, she did hint at it. She'd hinted at it somehow. And then
It
I
almost
saw
looks
that,
like a still from a music video.
yeah, that is what it looked like. Someone asked her on another post also if she's back with Psychopathic, and she said no. And then someone said, "Are you going to sign to MNE?" And then she went on this whole fuck twisted thing. So
Oh Jesus.
obviously she's not going over there anytime soon. But I think
I
she's poised for a comeback. The time seems right. Enough time has passed since the last CD and everything. It's like, why not go for it now? I felt like she never reached her full potential with that album anyway. So
yeah.
I was always hoping she would make some more. What do you think about it?
I will not listen to it or
Oh, okay.
anything.
All right. So there you go. Sounds like you are not here for it at all. Let me see what's going on in the chat a little bit. Scruffy says, anybody else kind of raising an eyebrow at all the covers and interpolations of other people's shit that comes with the FFF era? No, I'm not raising an eyebrow at it. Raising an eyebrow at it in what way? Like, I don't mind it. I guess I mean, I'm not even sure exactly to what all he's referring. Low obviously
Yeah.
is a cover slash interpolation.
Maybe the Black Eyed Kids song as well.
Yeah, the Black Eyed Kids song as well. Yeah, that's true. Uh, which I didn't really love that song either. So, Pig Venus, what up to him? He says they straight jacked Alice in Chains for Man in the Box. Yeah, that is clearly the one to which I was referring when I said they're stealing huge chunks of other songs.
Yeah.
I didn't want to name names, but that is the one. Clown Love Brett says Game Over is a good song. Sure fucking is.
That beat
Uh,
by Devereaux. Devereaux is I love his production.
yeah, he rocks. He's a cool guy too. He's always like, not always, but sometimes he hits me up to, say I did a good show or something. So
Yep.
shout out to him for sure. He's a good man. Speak your clout, says Blase Rose is so trash. A lot of people have that opinion, so
I agree.
what are you gonna do? Yeah, Scruffy says Judgment Day, that was actually, but I know what you're talking about. Judgment Day, Black Eyed Kids, Jacking for Beats, the dog. I mean, that's not that many. I don't know. He says and on and on. Excuse me.
That Judgment Day cover was fucking awesome.
Yeah, it was. That would have been fine. That would have been good on FFF. Like I said at the time, that would have been a better first single for FFF than What the Fuck to me.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I would have
Any
been way more jazzed.
pretty much any other song on Fearless Fred Fury would have been a better single than What the Fuck.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Like they could have did uh, uh just any fucking
The
song
first
really.
single it should have been Fury, I would say.
Yeah. That's still my favorite song on the album. I fucking love that song. The emotion in that song, the feeling behind those verses, Jay fucking screaming on that shit.
Right.
It feels if that track feels it brings back like the old school vibes for me, like the feeling. Like
No,
the
yeah, it's a great song.
yeah.
Joker's Gallery said, oh, wait, that's not the one I meant to read. Oh, yeah, it was. Joker's Gallery says Blase's verse on that If We Were a Gang track was good. Her victim gimmick was stale. See, I think that's where Violent J kind of fucked her over a little bit because that was how he like introduced her. Like when they were talking about Blase Rose at the gathering at their seminar, that was how he put it. He said, like most psychopathic artists are from the role of the killer, and Blase is more like from the role of the victim. And that was before I think that was the EP. EP came out at that gathering, I think. So that was like before anyone had heard the music on it. And I think that set like a really bad tone. Like people were already going into it with a bad attitude because that was the way that he introduced it. So I always
Well,
thought that she got kind of a bad draw on that. Like,
yeah. Well, that and it's somebody nobody's ever heard of.
mm-hmm.
That's the one thing Psychopathic kind of fucks up on when signing new acts is they don't get anybody with any kind of buzz. It just feels like some random person. Like that's how I felt about Boondocks, even though he was in that Underground Psychos contest or whatever it was called.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I felt like he was just some random fucking dude with a scarecrow gimmick, and I was like, no, I'm good.
That's interesting that you call that a fuck up because I think that's like
Oh, it's
I think
yeah,
that's an asset. I like it that way. They pick the people that have no kind of background so that they can create something for them. Like I think that's what makes Psychopathic so distinctly unique that way. Otherwise,
yeah,
they would just be another strange music or something. But
yeah. I mean, Violent J likes coming up with gimmicks for people and shit like
yeah,
that.
he's good at it. Yeah, I mean, he created that whole scarecrow gimmick, so he obviously knew what he was doing to some degree. He pretty much gave that guy a whole career. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I mean, a lot of people like him, so I mean, it did work out. But I'd like to see them. I know they're not going to. I don't think they're signing anybody anymore. But I
there's
mean,
no
we
way of
we
knowing if the right person came along at any time. It could happen. I don't think that they should, but even right before they signed Blase, they said we're not signing anyone else because
right.
that was like right as like everybody was leaving and stuff and that kind of shit. So they said we're not going to sign anyone else, and then they signed Blase like just a few months later. Just like, okay,
Yeah.
you just said you
Although,
weren't signing anyone.
right. I mean, they did sign Ouija, and I was familiar with Swagtooth. Um,
Yeah, and Light had a CD before as well. I mean, they've
yeah.
said that it gets harder and harder to find people that have no background now with the internet. It's like
Yeah, it's all
everybody has a name, so it's harder and harder to do it the way that they used to do it. But yeah, they'll probably just have no choice from now on but to just sign people that already have some kind of a following.
right. Yeah. I mean, it's so everything is so easy to do now compared to what it was back in the day. And nobody's really waiting around for a record label anymore. People are just going out and doing this shit themselves,
Mm-hmm.
as they
Yeah,
should. And I thought that Swagtooth shit was all right. I remember I saw one video and they were rocking like Esham shirts and shit. I was like, whoa.
right. Mm-hmm.
And they
Yeah.
all dude with the long ass dreads, choir boy. Like they had a few bangers.
Yeah, I can't really get into any of the pre psychopathic Ouija business, but Yeah, I don't even know who they would sign now if they were gonna sign somebody. I don't really know like who has a name. I don't really know shit. I don't know. I usually don't know about somebody until they get signed. Like I had always heard about AXE and then I never really bothered to listen to them until they signed with MNE. So that's just
Yeah.
kind of how I am. It helps to filter out all the garbage.
Right.
I I can't stand listening to garbage, so I usually end up missing a lot of really good shit too because I usually just wait until someone gets a cosign.
Yeah. I love looking for listening to new shit. And if it's garbage, I mean, I'm only going to waste about 30 to 45 seconds of my life on deciding if I like
How
it or
long it
not.
takes? It's
Oh
been
yeah.
45 seconds. I can't fuck
Yeah,
with this.
like if I play the first song, 20 seconds into it, doesn't grab my attention. All right, maybe this song sucks. Go to the next one. Oh, that one sucks too. Well, I just assume you suck and I won't listen to you again.
Wow, that's harsh. Well, I
Yeah.
mean, I guess it's more harsh of me to not even give it a chance, but it's just there's so many artists out there.
Oh yeah. It's hard to
It's
keep up.
it's impossible. It's like a full time unless that is your only interest, it's like almost impossible to keep up.
Right.
Like, when do you have time to watch movies and shit if you're listening to that much music all the time? But
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, I would say for me personally, music is probably my number one thing. Like last year, every year I always compile a best of the year. And the last couple years, it just keeps getting fucking bigger and bigger. I think last year I had like 20 something albums. And then I ended up cutting like 7 or 8 from the list that were
mm,
still really good, but I felt like I was like, "Fuck, this list is really fucking big. I gotta trim it down a little bit."
there's still shit that I really want to hear that I still haven't. Like, it takes me a long time. Even the artists I'm a big fan of, big like God, I'm like ashamed to even admit this, but like probably might not be a big deal to you, but I still haven't heard like that Stevie Stone and JL album from last year. I think that was last year. It seems
Yep.
like fucking forever ago now. And I remember before that came out, even with the single, I was like, damn, this is gonna be fat. And I still haven't fucking heard it. And it's just feels like shit's coming out quicker than I can listen to it now.
That's a good album.
I'm sure it is, damn it.
It
So I need to
is.
fucking get on that. I honestly, up until like this moment, now that we're talking about it, I kind of forgot about it for a long time. Now I'm like, oh shit, I'd actually never got around to that. So yeah, it's tough to keep up.
It
Like
is.
psychopathic shit, I'll listen to on day one, like repeatedly. Like on the day before Fred Fury came out, like right as it was about to drop, I was like refreshing Spotify just waiting for the shit to come up so I could listen to it. And then I did like 3 times back to back and continued to listen to every day for weeks and still listen to. But like sometimes, like I guarantee there's Twisted songs I've never even heard. There's probably a bunch of them.
Yeah.
there's, I mean, they put out a bunch of singles and tour EPs and stuff like that. And I guarantee that some things have slipped through the cracks, but like anytime ICP puts out anything, I want to hear it as soon as possible a bunch of times. Even if I don't like it, like I'm committed to listening to psychopathic shit a bunch of times just so I feel familiar with it.
Right.
I don't know why that's important to me. I guess just because
Uh, I get
yeah.
that. I mean, I did that with I mean, I do that with all their albums as well. Twisted the same. Even Missing Link, like if you played a song, I could probably tell you what album it's from, Lost or Found, whatever. Just because I have listened to it a handful of times, I don't like it, but I'm still familiar with it.
Yeah, ICP shit stays in my rotation. That's why, like I said, I have like every psychopathic album. Like those are the only CDs that I buy. And if I miss one, I don't feel badly about it. Like I'll just download the Brother EP because I don't want to pay $25 for 4 songs that I don't like that much.
Right.
So, or 3 songs I don't like that much, and one that I really like a lot. Like that's one that I'm fine with just downloading. But yeah, I just buy the CD, rip it as an MP3, put it on a USB drive, and play the shit in my car. That way, every Psychopathic album kind of stays in the rotation. Like I'll skip tracks a lot if some come up that I don't like, but it's a good way to make sure that it's a good way to make sure that like if you heard a song that was good, or maybe you heard a song that you didn't like that much at one time, and then like 5 years later it comes up again, and you realize it was awesome.
Right.
So
yeah, that happens.
it's a good way to make sure that you don't miss things. I guess would be a way to put that. Man, talking live is a lot more difficult than recording, but that's okay. What else happened this week? I got some well, it's not really. I like to think that everything that is talked about on this show is Juggalo related to some degree, but I have some mainstream topics, I guess you would call them.
Okay.
I watched that Motley Crue movie on Netflix. Have you seen that?
I haven't. I keep seeing people post about it, and I do want to check it out.
It's getting bad reviews from critics. I thought it was awesome. I watched it 2 times, and I don't even really give a fuck about Motley Crue at all, really.
Yep.
So I don't really know what I was expecting, but I knew that Machine Gun Kelly was playing Tommy Lee, so
I heard he did really good.
That was weirdly kind of a weird selling point for me, just because I was interested to see that. And I don't even like particularly love Machine Gun Kelly's music. Like I could name the songs he has that I like on one hand probably, but I thought he did a great job acting. He's a better actor than he is rapper. If you ask me, he should just hang up the rapping and stick with the acting. But
yeah, I
saw
don't know. Somebody else post that today.
You might like it or hate it. It has like a 46% critic score on Rotten Tomatoes and then like an 85% audience score. So it's like there's a pretty big gap there. Most people are just criticizing the fact that it's like toxic masculinity and shit. I've been seeing that going around in a lot of the reviews.
It was the 80s.
That's what I'm saying. It's a fucking 80s hair metal glam rock band. What do you think? There wasn't a lot of like hashtag me too going on at the time.
No.
All they're doing is putting the shit that really happened. So it's like, I don't buy that as a valid critique since it's not about the movie. Yeah, I mean, people are giving it a bad review, but what they're really doing is giving a bad review to toxic masculinity, which I agree is a bad thing.
Right.
But that has nothing to do with if the movie is good or not. Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe the movie wasn't that good, but I thought the acting really carried it. I would recommend it to anyone, whether you're interested or not interested in Motley Crue.
I mean, Motley Crue's whatever. I mean, if a Motley Crue song comes on, I'm not going to hate it. And I remember watching their Behind the Music special on VH1 back in the day.
That was like the extent of my knowledge of Motley Crue before I watched the movie.
They had some crazy fucking stories. So.
Oh, yeah. And there's a spoiler alert, but there is an Ozzy Osbourne scene in the movie. So
that's awesome.
That is pretty good.
Yeah, so, that's on my list for things to watch for sure.
I consider that tangentially Juggalo related because Machine Gun Kelly is in it, and he has in fact performed at the gathering of the Juggalos. I believe that was 2015. He went on right before ICP, so that's like the prime spot of the whole gathering.
Mm-hmm.
He went on the last night right before ICP, so he fucking killed it. Like he's like a big like mainstream celebrity, and he did a real mainstream celebrity performance. Like he did not hold back. I believe he drove a car on stage, like that was his entrance, like a car like rode in from the side of the stage. So I was sold right from that. And then of course while he's rapping, he's like jumping on top of the car and shit. So he fucking killed it at that performance. Even though I don't really, really love a lot of his music, I'll always respect him for that, fucking putting on a fantastic show there. And of course, most recently, he's been on everyone's radar for that whole Eminem bullshit that went down. So
yeah,
that was fun to watch as well. He did about as good a job at dissing Eminem as anybody ever has. I mean, I still think that he lost because you just can't win. He can't anyway. I like
Right.
even if he pulled out like I think he did the best job he possibly could have. So I give him some credit for that as well. So
Yeah, I thought that was dope. I was like, man, M's gonna have a hard time coming back from this one, but that kill shot was like, it's hard, man. It's fucking. I think MGK probably served one of the better disses M has ever got, in my
yeah,
opinion.
totally. Yeah, the best diss M ever got, of course, is "Ain't Nothing But a Bitch Thing." But
So much better than Slim Anus.
well, Slim Anus isn't even really like a song. It's
Right.
more like a parody. I mean, that's not even really comparable. Another
Yeah.
But a Bitch Thing won that war, as far as I'm concerned. To this day, I see articles about like, you know, 10 rappers that that Eminem destroyed, like 10 rappers that tried to beef with Eminem and got destroyed, and they always put ICP on there, and it's like you
Yeah,
probably
they always
didn't even hear all of the songs because Ain't Nothing But a Bitch Thing fucking ended that shit, if you ask me.
that shit was hard. I mean, you could tell they were angry because there was like altercations and shit. Eminem ran up on one of their fucking employees or friends or something with a gun at one
Yeah, it
point or
was
some
Dougie
shit.
Doug. It's Billy Bill's brother,
Yeah.
Dougie Dale.
So
He's the one that had the gun pulled on him.
so
Which
yeah, it was like legitimate beef. It wasn't
when
just rap
when
beef
DJ Vlad was interviewing ICP, he didn't even know that. He didn't know that that gun charge on a
related to them.
on a ICP related thing because they kind of got into a little bit, and he was shocked to hear that. He didn't know.
Right.
I read Eminem's mom's book. Yes, she actually wrote a book. It's old now. It came out like when Eminem was like in his heyday because he was always talking shit about her all the time. So
Right.
she wrote a book of like, this is my side, and she actually mentioned that. She mentioned like, and then Marshall pulled a gun on the Insane Clown Posse's tour manager or whatever. I was like, wow, can't believe that actually made that into this book about Eminem's life. That was a big deal at the time.
Yeah. I mean, pulling a gun on somebody is no fucking joke.
Yeah, but if you ask Twisted, they had nothing to do with it, but that's a whole other conversation. Speaky Clout says, even though I fucked with M's music back then, I would still like fuck him because he was definitely in the wrong when it came to that beef. Uh, yeah, that shit happens though. Definitely in the wrong. I don't know. I kind of don't even look at beefs like that anymore. Like wrong or right. Everyone has their reasons for doing whatever they're doing. So who knows? Obviously, I took ICP's side at the time, but I'm
Yep.
glad it's all over with now. God knows if there'll ever be any kind of collaboration. Sometimes people say they want to see Eminem at the Gathering, which I would be down with for sure. But I
Mm,
feel quite sure that if Eminem ever played the Gathering, he would get all kinds of crap thrown at him, even though the beef was so long ago. You know how some people are; they just never let things go ever, no
right.
matter how long it's been. So I think if Eminem performed at the Gathering, he would probably get the Bubba Sparks treatment.
Yeah, I don't think it would be good, and plus, I think his fee would be way too high.
He could yeah. The only reason that he would ever be there would be as a show of good faith. It would certainly not be for the money or anything. He plays festivals
Oh,
10 times the size of the Gathering easily
yeah.
on a
He,
lazy day for him.
oh yeah.
I would love to see Eminem live one day, but he doesn't do tours like a regular person. Like it seems like every 6 years he'll do like a 6 show tour of Europe or some bullshit like that. It's like
Right.
every time I see Eminem's about to go on tour, it's always like, oh, okay, in Australia. It's like never anything realistic that a regular person can go to. I would love to see him live before one of us dies. In my lifetime, I would definitely be bucket list type shit. He's probably the only artist that I like enough to see live who's big enough to play stadiums. Like every other artist that I would ever want to see, I pretty much have seen them just about pretty much. I mean, I saw Ice Cube with The Gathering. I've never seen Snoop Dogg. That would be cool, but
Yeah, the one tour I miss or that I regret missing was the Up in Smoke tour.
mm-hmm.
Oh man, such a classic lineup on that tour.
Yeah,
Fucking
totally.
M, Trey, Cube, Snoop. They were on fire then too. And that DVD that they filmed was in my fucking hometown.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice. And
Yep.
yeah, you weren't out there.
Yeah,
So,
I wasn't there. But that would have been that would have been the show to go to see M. Because then you would have got all the other people that were
oh
there as
yeah,
well.
totally. Plus, that's like Eminem in his prime still.
Right.
Yeah, would be good. What are people saying in the chat? Joker's Gallery says Eminem would get lit up at, at the gathering 100%. I agree with that. Joker's Gallery says they need to do a 20-year Up in Smoke tour reunion before they're all dead. Yeah, there's an idea.
That would be dope.
What year was that? Was Nate Dogg there? Kind of
Uh
sketchy.
he he might have been because he was still alive at that point.
Uh huh.
I know Exhibit was there, and Exhibit at the time was on fire. I think his album Restless had just came out or was about to drop, and he's another one who's mad underrated. I fucking love Exhibit shit.
Yeah,
Just
he's
a
good.
just the MC's MC, just raps his ass off, and he works well with Dre, like really well.
Yeah, he's good. Scruffy says Eminem at the gathering might leave Juggalos outnumbered 4-1. Yeah, I wonder if that's true. If Eminem played the gathering, I wonder if the gathering would just be like flooded with Eminem fans. That might be
Probably,
a problem.
yeah,
That might cause some issues. You might have Eminem fans going to the gathering just to start shit, not only to see Eminem, but to start shit. And I'm sure Juggalos would be starting shit with them right back. So that might actually not be a good idea. Who do you think you would like to see at the gathering this year? Big names, but don't go crazy.
right,
Medium level, yeah.
right.
Medium to high.
Yellow Wolf, because he's set to drop Trunk Music 3, and those two singles he
Yeah,
released are
and he
fucking
fucking killed it
awesome.
last year. I would be scared to ever see Yellow Wolf again because last year with those fireworks, it was so
He
crazy. I would hate to see people try to outdo themselves. Like Yellow Wolf was definitely encouraging that shit, so that would be frightening. But I definitely love him. Who else? Do you have anyone else in mind?
uh it's probably a long shot at this point, but a la Zulilu.
Yeah, long shot. That would be awesome.
Yep. Who else? Tech Nine, of course, because
Yeah, and
he puts on a great
I don't
show.
I would like to see that as well, but after Seriously Hilarious, I don't know if
Right.
Tech Nine's even going to get the invite. So
Um, I'd like to see them reach out for dudes like
so far,
Slain.
I've shit on all of your everything you suggested.
That's all
Yellow
right.
Wolf too dangerous. XC not gonna happen.
I'd like to
Fucking
I'd like to see them reach out to like more like underground boom bap type styles like Jedi Mind Tricks, Ill
mm,
Bill,
mm-hmm,
Slain,
mm-hmm.
La Coca Nostra even. That would be fucking dope. I think that would go over really well at the gathering.
Yeah, I would definitely. It was kind of
Um,
rough at the Oklahoma gathering with no Strange and no MNE. It was a little bit slim pickings.
right.
Probably,
Who
I
would
would
you like
like
to
to.
see?
I would at that gathering. So a lot of the artists didn't show up, which fucking happens sometimes. And that year it was like everyone that I really wanted to see, other than Psychopathic, like none of them showed up, like Brother Lynch and Mad Child and Jelly Roll. So I would like to see the three of them at the Super Gathering.
Yeah,
I
Jelly Roll would be dope.
Yeah, and Jelly Roll was there last year, I'm pretty sure. So he was definitely there last year because I remember he brought his wife out on stage and they were making out and stuff, which got a pretty good reaction. So he's always good. I like Jelly Roll.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of who else would be dope at the gathering this year.
We were talking about this on your show earlier today, but it would be nice if they could bring in any version of 3-6 Mafia possible. If you get Juicy J and DJ Paul together, then that alone is enough. But if you could step it up with a Crunchy and then step it up even more with a Gangsta Boo, that would be
Yeah,
pretty unreal.
that would be pretty fucking dope. Even just a solo DJ Paul set would be dope. Dirtball, because he just put out Skull Hollow. I'm still bumping that album. I love that album. Who else?
Yeah, I'm looking at the chat. Gino Blaze says bring back Big B. That would be good.
Big B's the shit.
I wonder if the Cottonmouth Kings will be there doing whatever God knows what they're doing.
What the fuck is the Cottonmouth Kings doing at this point?
Who knows?
It's so confusing.
Super Gathering would be a good place for them to what if
I would say Daddy X is all but out of the picture at this point. Only because Loke was calling him out on the Ripperside album.
Who is?
Daddy X.
Yeah.
I would say he's not involved at all at this point. Or wanting to be involved.
Yeah. So I don't know. Super Gathering would be a good place to do that. Well, we've been going for a little over an hour now, so
okay.
I think I'm probably going to wrap this up.
All right.
So, what you got? Any other topics worth throwing out there, though?
No, we did mention the Blase Rose thing, the Brother CD. I think that pretty much covers it.
All right, then.
Oh, Twisted's doing the Mystery Era weekend. I don't know if that's really news, but
I heard you say that you were hoping for the Wicked, Heartbroken, and Homicidal era,
Abominations
era. So that would be a good one.
Yep.
Yeah.
Only because I've seen Most Tasteless Freak Show and Mirror Mirror so much. Like those songs performed so much.
Right.
But
so yeah, well, that'll be cool. I'm sure you'll talk about that on your podcast.
For sure.
Yeah. Why don't you talk about your podcast for a little bit before we sign off here? Beneath the Dirt.
Beneath the Dirt podcast. I drop every Monday. iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, pretty much everywhere you listen to podcasts. Every Wednesday on my YouTube, I do Wicked Shit Wednesday like I did tonight. Yeah. BeneathDirt.com. Go there. You'll find all the links for where you need to go.
All right, then. You can go to all my shit is at murdermayhemshow.com. All that good stuff. So peep that out, and I'll leave the stream up for people to watch. But
fuck yeah.
On that note, I think that just about does it. So peace out.
Peace out.
Mm-hmm.